Welcome back to another edition of Biro Sports Talk. I'm your host, Biro, and as always, and as we have been doing lately, shared everything. Make sure you are watching this on any platform Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. We are on all three, so hey, if you are following us on one of these platforms, make sure to follow us on all other platforms. Oh my goodness. Gotta turn that off. Trying to watch comments come through any platform. Because we got Facebook, we got YouTube, and we got Twitch. You know, you know, you know. All right, so let's start with the first things first. So last week, we did some picks, did pretty well after two lackluster weeks. So out of the 2 weeks, we had 6-8 and 8-6. But last week we're back on track with a 10-4. Now, the four pretty reasonable ones to miss out on. So Seattle could not perform as well as Buffalo. Buffalo looking really good in their win. Picking Washington or the Giants was a coin toss, anyways. The Giants won that game. Arizona, Miami, another coin toss, only because you don't know which Arizona is coming. You think Arizona is going to win, but they didn't. Miami won, and of course, Tom Brady's kryptonite of Drew Brees. That was one that was also missed with a bold prediction. I really wanted to be bold, and that's what I did. So this week, with an 81-39 overall, with 1 week not accounted for because I didn't do it that week. I took a week off. Let's start with tonight. Tonight we got Indianapolis and Tennessee. I think Tennessee's going to win this. It's like I thought last time. Tennessee, I just think is a better team all around. Indianapolis is kind of in this, where are we right now? I think they lose this one, but then they get back on track. But we'll see. Tampa Bay plays Carolina. I think Tampa Bay bounces back. Cleveland versus Houston. I think Cleveland wins this. Houston just isn't getting it done. Washington, Detroit. I think Detroit's a good team to win this one. Washington still trying to figure out things. You name it, they're trying to figure it out. Got Green Bay, Jacksonville. I'm going Green Bay, of course. Green Bay just a solid team all around as well. Philadelphia Giants. I am going Philadelphia. Philadelphia looks like the best team out of that lackluster division. Got Miami and Chargers. I'm going Miami. Dolphins just putting it together. Running back is an issue for them. We'll see how that plays out. All right, let's see. We got Buffalo at Arizona. I do think Buffalo wins. I mean, after demolishing Seattle, I know Seattle's defense isn't the greatest, but Buffalo looking like a solid team. Denver at Las Vegas. I think it will be somewhat close, closer than many will expect, but I think the Raiders win this one. Joe Burrow goes to Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh continues the undefeated streak. But of course, Joe Burrow is going to look very good in a loss again. It's just what he does, man. It's what he does. Saints, San Francisco. Saints, I think the 49ers are falling apart. Saints are just going to solidify their place in the playoffs. Seattle bounces back, I think, against the Rams, even though they're at the Rams. I think it will be more of a shootout, though, of course. Russ Cook. The 8 o'clock game, Baltimore at New England. I'm going Baltimore. And, of course, Monday night, you got Minnesota and the Bears. And I'm going the Bears. But I have some stipulations. So my stipulations for the Bears, of course, you got to get Mitchell back in there. I mean, everyone's calling for Mitchell to be back in there. Like, I know you shouldn't listen to your fan base. You shouldn't listen to outside sources to your decisions, but everyone thinks the poll was premature. Hey, Katie, what's up? I mean, as a Bears fan who've seen Rex Grossman, Jay Cutler, I've seen a lot of terrible quarterbacks. I remember Cordell Stewart. I remember Chris Chandler. I remember these 90s guys. I wish I had a better memory where I just knew all these names. Skip to Green Bay. But anyways, this Bears team, they're missing. They've always been missing a quarterback. It's just what's been the issue. It's what's been going on in general. And watching Nick Foles throw interception after interception after interception and telling me that Mitch is not the guy, I feel like it's Matt Nagy staring us in our faces and just lying. Like, no joke, he's just lying to our faces. He said Mitch was the problem. Well, sure, Nick Foles is getting more completions, more yards per game passing, sure. But he's thrown an interception each and every game. Trubisky at least gave you rushing yards. What's sad is Mitchell Trubisky has 90 rushing yards on the year, and he's second on the team in rushing yards. Second on the team in rushing yards. That's crazy, man. Sure, you can argue and say Nick Foles is getting it done. I just don't. I need you to tell me how. How is he getting it done? I've seen many games where the Bears get down so much and Nick Foles leads them back within a score just for time to run out. They shouldn't, if they're scoring at that pace in the fourth quarter, where is it in the first three quarters? Again, it's just, I just don't see Foles having it. He just stands there. He doesn't create. He just runs the plays. But enough of my high horse on my team. What's up, Ethan? How you doing, sir? Enough with the Bears. Let's actually take a look at this NFL playoffs. Excited Bills. Bills looked amazing last week. Not gonna lie, I saw the score before Russell got a few more touchdowns in. But the Bills, that's a good team, man. Very good team. Here we go. Standings. Gotta love it. Gotta love it, love it, love it. Talk with my hands. If I was a true podcast, you wouldn't see my hands, of course, because you'd be listening. Yeah, so let's take a look at the playoffs. I mean, We are now at, they are discussing 16, which is crazy to think about as well. So we'll look at the top. We won't go 8, we'll go like 10 maybe. We'll go 10 teams. Because this is when you start thinking playoffs. We're basically at the halfway point for some teams, a little over for a lot of teams. We'll start with the AFC, of course, though. You got the Steelers in first, Kansas City second. Last resort for 16. That's what I thought. Because if there's not enough games, then they throw in that 8th team. Otherwise, it's 7. Which is crazy to think about, too. So let's start. Again, so we said Steelers, we said Chiefs, Bills, very good team. A team I'm not so sure should be in this discussion as good as the Titans. They didn't look good last week. The Bears shut down that run offense. But then again, they coasted at the end. And every time a team coasts at the end with the Bears somehow ends up scoring like 2 touchdowns in 3 minutes. They don't win necessarily unless you're the Lions or the Falcons. But yeah, it's crazy. But Titans are at 4 right now, AFC South. Ravens, your first wild card. Raiders, your second wild card. And the Dolphins right now sitting at that third and final wild card. Now, if we do the 16 due to COVID cancellations, the Browns are sitting there with the Colts. Man, there's a lot of good AFC teams. I would question more of the NFC teams. But we're going to question it anyways because of Philadelphia. When you look at the NFC, you got the Saints right now in first, Seahawks in second. That's going to be a interesting combination. Along with Green Bay, all at 6-2. That's going to be a neat battle to watch. Especially since Green Bay hasn't played the Bears. Seahawks going to start playing 49ers, who are beaten and bruised. They're going to start playing the Rams and the Cardinals. You also got the Saints, but they have a little tougher road. They have a tougher road. However, in that 4 spot, you have the Eagles at 3-4-1, and that's just sad and pathetic. I hope they at least are 500. I have them winning this week, putting them at 4-4-1, but we'll see. You have Tampa Bay in your first wild card spot right now. Okay. You got the Cardinals in your second wild spot, and the Rams in your third. If we go 16 because of COVID, you have the Bears right now. And behind the Bears, you have a broken 49ers team, a Vikings team that's taking off with Dalvin Cook, a struggling Lions team, and a Falcons team, and a Panthers team that are also struggling. And at the bottom, you have Washington, Dallas, New York, but we don't care. Again, hypothetical. Eagles win the division at 6-9-1. Giants just miss it at 6-10. Does that help them? That tie helps them win. And see, that's what's crazy. The tie doesn't hurt them. It actually helps them. Because right now, with everyone else at 2-6 or 2-7, they have like a game and a half ahead with that 3. And if I remember right, they also have more than that in their lead because, pretty sure, I'm trying to switch back over to their divisions. I'm pretty sure division wise, yeah, they're 2-1. I'm trying to think who they lost to. I actually drawn a blank on that, but that's okay. They're 2-1 in the division, and they could easily win 2 more games in the division, 3 more games, 2 more games, 3 more. It doesn't matter. But yes, they could very well go 6-9-1, and the Giants could somehow pull it out a 6-10. The Cowboys could somehow pull out a 6. Cowboys are just falling apart as well. Washington could somehow be 6-10, but that one tie does put them in the playoffs, and it's just sickening, man. 6-9-1 is a sickening record. I don't want to see that. But knowing my luck, it'll be that team against the Bears, and somehow we lose again with a Nick Foles interception or something stupid like that. And that's if the Bears can even put together a winning season at this point. We've lost 3 in a row. We were 5-1, and then we lost 3 in a row. It's crazy. It's naggy. It really is. It's been a complaint for 3 years now. Some people correlated it with Trubisky. I don't think it's Trubisky. Do I think it's Nick Foles? I think some of these losses are his fault. Nick Foles can be an okay quarterback. But when the Colts was I'm looking at the Rams. The Rams should have been a closer game. It really should have. The Saints was a game we should have won as well, but we just fell apart as well. And the Titans just couldn't score to the end. I don't want to be up here basically complaining about how the Bears are doing things, but we know what the issues are. We know as a fan base can see the struggles that we go through. But let's switch some gears here now that we're at 725. Ivy League once again canceling sports for their year. They started off with the fall football season, fall sports season. Now they're doing winter sports, all canceled. Zach, I will actually talk about that here in a second. Let me get one more basketball topic in real quick. I know LaMelo Ball is holding his second workout, and I was thinking of going over the draft, but I think we will save that for next week. We'll save it for next week. So, yes, I know about the console game coming for AEW. 2 mobile games, it's mobile games, but what I've heard also with the console game, besides that, Ukes is working on them. And for those who don't know, Ukes, they made some of the popular games like WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy. The director of No Mercy is supposed to be doing the AEW game with Kenny Omega as an advisor. If any of the still images are anything to look at, it looks like an okay wrestling game. If No Mercy is getting involved, you know the storyline elements are going to be amazing. And I really hope they dig in with this, because playing WWE 2K20 was awful. Couldn't stand just people not looking like people. Couldn't stand the controls not working properly. Seeing all these glitches. Oh man, it's terrible. And yeah, AEW, if they knock this game out of the park, WWE is going to struggle in that department, in the gaming department. They've already canceled it for this year. I know they came out with Battlegrounds, which, if you haven't checked it out, take a look at Chronic Nerd Gaming playing some WWE Battlegrounds. Interesting game, not gonna lie. But yeah, it's a poo show. Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. Yep, you're right. You're right. You're right. Right. But that's a decision WWE made, and that's a decision they have to live by now. Or 2K. I guess 2K is the one who's working on it technically. If they're the ones that fired him, which they were. Yeah, like I said, that's interesting. But when you think of these games, though, WCW always had a game out against WWE. A lot of people liked the WCW games. I think I have a few actually. My personal favorite was WrestleMania, the arcade game on PC. If you watch me play it on Super Nintendo, man, that was a lot harder than playing on the PC. At least from what I remember. But then again, I probably played on easy when I was a child. More of a child. Oh, and of course, the slight tease in the description working out. Yes, I have been working out. I worked out before the show today, hoping to look better, a little glistening. Not really, I took a shower. But if AEW can pull this off, we might be heading towards another two pillars of wrestling. Now, WWE survived the last one because of poor management by the other company. But you also got to remember WCW was around for a while. So AEW is going to be around for a while. And they're going to compete, and talent's going to see that. Man, Zach pops in for a second, and here we are on a tangent for wrestling. There's nothing wrong with that. Not gonna lie though, been trying to keep track of the stories for wrestling. I'm a little tired of the Murphy storyline. Murphy, Rollins, and the Mysterio family. I'm tired of it. They're trying to make a love interest again with his daughter and Murphy, and it's just I'm over it. Let's see. SmackDown Shut Your Mouth. SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 through 2011. WWE All Stars. WWE 2K14 are Zach's favorites. Oh man, let's see. What is it? Now see, I grew up with a lot of Nintendo. So I had the WrestleMania 2000 No Mercy. No Mercy was really good. I really liked No Mercy. Um, but see, then I had Days of Reckoning. Those weren't terrible. Those were surprisingly not bad on GameCube. Of course, I have the Xbox 360 games for the SmackDown vs. Raws. But now we're diving into gaming. Ah, man, another. So for us in Ohio, I was trying to hide that, but it came out Ohio. I got the O in, but here in Ohio, today we just went back to cold. You're welcome, thanks, Zach. We just went back to cold. Something else that happened today. So my house has been surrounded by corn for the longest time. Today they finally took the corn down, which is great, meaning I can burn some stuff. Because we're country folk, we burn some things. But what am I getting with this? It's almost basketball season. My favorite time of the year. Playing basketball next week. But what I wanted to go over today was the mock draft. ESPN did a mock draft. This will probably be the last thing we talk about, unless I go off on a tangent. But the mock draft, everyone's saying LaMelo will be number one. Makes sense, I guess. I don't want him to go to the Timberwolves, though. I want someone to trade into that spot. Personally, I want him to go to the Hornets. It's a weird thing to say, but the Hornets need someone like LaMelo, I think. I don't know why, but I think that's what I want. They have James Wiseman going to the Warriors. Makes sense because they need a center. Nice big guy down low. Hornets in this mock. Anthony Edwards. Edwards having a terrible workout. The Bulls going with the Israeli Denny Adjiha. Hope I said that right. There's a lot of names like that in this draft where I think I'm saying them right, but I'm probably wrong. Cavaliers, they have Opie Toppin from Dayton. Hawks got Isaac Okoro. And I'm kind of rushing through this because I just don't want to make this super long. But Okoro's from Auburn. He was the young star there last season. The Pistons, they have Patrick Williams. He's a long, athletic guard, basically very versatile defensively. I don't know much about this Iowa State guy, the Tyrese Halliburton. He's climbed up the charts, I've noticed. And they have him going to the Knicks at 8. The Wizards, Okongwu. Oh man, I'm just not gonna know. USC kid, very talented to the Wizards, and they kind of need more talent, especially at the forward center spot. That's what he is. Suns, Devin Vassell, another Florida State kid. He's tweener between guard and forward as well. Spurs, they have Aaron Naismith. Vanderbilt. The Kings, they have Killian Hayes. Ulm sounds interesting. Foreign player, of course. He's a guard. It's interesting to see a guard here only because what does the Kings need more? I feel like the Kings have a lot of guards, but they're saying he would be a great complement to De'Aaron Fox. We'll see. Pelicans, Villanova kid, Saddiq Bey. Boston, they're saying, is going to be Kira Lewis Jr. from Alabama. And here's the one I really wanted to talk about. A kid who decided to play professionally overseas instead of going to college. RJ Hampton going to the Magic. My biggest thing in general with RJ Hampton is he was the projected number one guy in this class. He chose to go professional, didn't do so well. Problem is, he's a solid player. He's just, like I said, he just didn't perform as well as they thought because he got hurt. But LaMelo got hurt, but he did very well overseas. Some other names, I'm just not. I mean, there's some big names, but I'm just kind of. It's a week out. Next Wednesday is the draft, I believe. Yes. And in this mock, I don't see a Caleb Wesson, which is a surprise to me. He would have been one I would have for sure saw. But I notice, like, sometimes when you look up drafts, some places are more accurate than others, and ESPN tends to be one that's off sometimes. So, well, I hope everyone enjoyed their night with Biro Sports Talk. As always, on Thursdays at 7 p.m., I'm going to say it now. We may do a later show next week. Just putting it out there because I have a feeling we're going to need to do a later show next week. So, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, follow the page, like the video, do whatever, man. Just get it out there. Keep us growing. I will see you next Thursday late. And we'll get some NFL picks and we'll see what's going on in the world of basketball then. Thank you and have a good